I didn't have a lot. Yara was my representation when I was like 8 or something. Cause we were talking about like, imagine that. And I like loved that. I was like, yeah, Black girl.
Sophia, I'll start with you. I think this show is so beautiful. You're getting to tell a really important story on such a huge platform. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about what it means to you personally to tell your story in such a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel a lot of privilege being able to do that because I feel like, my story isn't necessarily an anomaly. I feel like it's something that a lot of people can relate to. And that's one of the things that we realized, the cast, all of the heroes talking with each other, realizing that like, oh, a lot of our stories are very similar to one another. And that's because growing up, while it feels very isolating at the time, it doesn't have to be. It's a matter of having these conversations with the people that you're around and having that sense of community to be able to support you while you're going through what seems like a very daunting time, which not even seems, it really is a very daunting time. Yeah. And so I'm so glad to be a part of this project because I feel like representation as it relates to, especially like young Black girls, know that growing up, like I didn't have a lot. Yara was my representation when I was like 8 or something. Cause we were talking about like, imagine that. And I like loved that. I was like, yeah, Black girl. To see ourselves represented in different fields and different avenues, going through not only like the sorrow and like going through some of the more harrowing events, but then also celebrating that joy and showing that like we're all multifaceted human beings who go through it all and do it all. And I think that hopefully a lot of Black girls will be able to watch that and be like, oh my God, like I can do this too.
Definitely. And yeah, and for you, Yara, bringing this story to life visually and sort of mentoring almost like a new generation and putting this out there. What was that like? Kind of, how did that process work for you, bringing Sophia's story to life visually in this way?
Oh, I don't know if I'd classify myself as a mentor since I'm so proximate in age to all of the heroes, and also they had so much to offer. But honestly, I think my approach to the entire directing experience was by honoring my own experiences in front of the camera and trying to think of what worked for me as an actor, what didn't work, what things I'm not trying to replicate. And I use that as a pretty good base grasp in terms of trying to set the tone. I luckily had the experience on Grownish of what it means to set a tone on set. And I was grateful that I was already walking into a really well-oiled machine and a beautiful set of people that love collaboration. And so honestly, I feel like my job was easy. It was kind of, I think, I would classify it as just leaning into what was already presented and what was already there. Sophia and I had already been in conversation and knew how many parallels there were in our stories. And so I already knew there was going to be an ease kind of in our conversation and in sharing those experiences. And everybody on set was so excited to tell the story that it was fun to lean in when people had different ideas about what to do with the camera, different lighting ideas. It made it a truly kind of joyous experience because people were having so much fun.
Yeah, and that joy bled through the screen as well while I was watching. I loved it. And Sophia, it was so amazing to see you teaching at the end of the episode and talking about how, like Black women are really underrepresented in STEM and positions like that. And so I was really curious. I was wondering if you could give audiences like kind of an update on where you're at right now, what you're doing. Are you still teaching? What do you have in the works?
Yeah, so I recently mentored at a Code with Classy camp this summer, which was really cool. I have been involved with the program since 2016, which is really crazy when I was like learning, and I've taught so many times through that. And I'm so glad to have been able to mentor a couple of the camps that were in New York. I took a couple of years off school just because COVID. Online school is not my thing. So I'm going back to school in the fall. I transferred to Columbia University where I'm studying information science.
Casual.
Yeah. Science with a concentration in human rights. So still doing sort of the same sort of thing. I still code all the time. I do work with my organization, Gen Z for Change, and do a lot of really fun, crazy things, like taking down like an anti-CRT tip line in Virginia by spamming it with lyrics and lines from the B movie, which is really cool. So things like that. I meant that. It's real and you can look it up. But I love being able to still be my authentic self. I'm still like learning and growing, of course, but I have so many communities now. And I still did like when we had shot the show too, but finding more and more communities, I think makes the process substantially less daunting. And I think that's like even while like I've grown up, I guess now, I think it's something that like remains a motif in our lifetimes, that like our community is who we are. And without that, I feel like you have to go through that daunting process all over again.
Definitely. Well, it was amazing to see you go through that process and come out at the end doing all of these beautiful things. So I just want to thank you both for your time today talking to you. I'm very excited for everybody else to see the show.